Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an M12. It's a Tier 7 American SPG. It's located on the eastbourne of Sand River and it's under the command of Scrappey. Now this skin is an authentic skin showing an actual M12 model that does exist. It was done by Jazz. It's absolutely perfect. It really does look so like the real thing. Perfect model. And it's got our logo on the side. Game started. Now, it looks like this is an encounter game. I can tell that because the cap is actually in the centre of the map. And Scrappey, who's the player, is actually headed off to the conventional firing positions, slightly further to the south. Now, it's a 155mm gun of French design. You can tell that from the breech block. It's one of the French type breech blocks, and the French did make very good guns during the First World War, because this is where this design comes from. And it is said that the gun that actually brought down Tiger 131, or rather disabled it, was of a French design. And more about that on another video, I think. I could actually mention it now. You see, when the fall of France happened in 1940, the Germans captured an awful lot of French guns, and some of them they converted into German anti-tank guns. And one of these, a pack gun, was actually the gun that was captured by the Sherwood Foresters, who actually seized the heights on the hill where Tiger 131 was captured. Now, Tiger 131 took part in a counterattack, came towards the Sherwood Foresters, who commandeered the French gun, which the Germans were using, and one of the shells from that pack gun wedged in the turret ring and jammed the turret, and they couldn't turn it. So of course, the tank crew couldn't use the gun after that. Tiger 131 was effectively disabled. And so they wouldn't be able to defend themselves if the Churchill tanks, which were nearby, decided to push. So they decided to abandon the tank and forgot to set off the demolition charge, or maybe they did set it off but it just didn't go off. No Tiger tanks were supposed to be captured whatsoever. Every tank carried a demolition charge which was supposed to blow the whole tank up completely after the crew had left. Now, Scrappy's having a poor game so far because he hasn't got any damage whatsoever, but I think that's about to be rectified. Yes, it is! Big way, because he actually damaged two tanks, an E75 and an ST1. Now, he's Tier 7 Arty in a Tier 9 game. And that means that he is going to earn extra XP for every shot that he makes that hits the enemy. And it looks like the enemy have managed to bypass our tanks in the riverbed, and that M103 has now been disabled on the downslope. But it looks like our Malbreaker there is in a bit of a pickle. He's disposed of the, or rather he's blocked in that T29. The T29, yep, he's gone. So they've killed the enemy T29, and these guys still stuck around the corner. The ST1 and the E75, and that E75 just about to take a round from Scrappey. Yes! Right into the turret. Now this gun will do 700 alpha if it can penetrate the target, although it's not likely to penetrate these targets because they've got much thicker armour than the minimum penetration value, which is 39mm. So there's no way he's going to go through the armour on these things. So that's why he's only getting splash damage, not getting a full pen. But his team's doing rather well, because they've managed to hold back some of those tanks in the riverbed, and with two tanks up on the enemy, that E75, well, he's only a splash kill away. But there is one enemy tank in the cap area. We can't see him. We don't know where he is, but oh, I think Scrappey should have held on to that shot because the Wizzy 131 was actually a little closer. But the AMX 1357 got a full reset. And now he's being chased by the Wizzy 131 who kills him off. But now Scrappy knows where the Wizzy is. And, oh, and he's been killed. So, what have we got over there? It's an Su-130PM, the Tier 8 Soviet tank destroyer. Their version of the Scorpion. And, oh, no, that shell fell short. Reload time is fairly good. It's about 26 seconds for the M12. You can get it slightly faster. It does a decent amount of damage. It's comparable in many ways, you might say, to the GW Panther in terms of capability. It's just the arc of fire is slightly smaller, and he's got his first kill. The E75, he was a splash kill, as I said earlier, and he managed to wipe him out with that shot. The Su-130 just took a massive hit from a Borsig. He's not a happy bunny now. And it looks like he's going to try and get revenge on the Borsig, but oh, and he has. In fact, actually, it was the GW Panther on the enemy team who got the revenge. But the Su-130 is about to have an encounter with a Tier 9 Jagdtiger, and that guy has the big gun. Yep, he's just ram killed him. He's got the 128mm gun, not the paltry 88 that you find on the Tier 8 premium tank. Okay, we're looking at the back of the enemy map, or the back of the enemy spawn area, I would say, and we're looking really for any tracer from the GW Panther. In theory, he should be somewhere around there because he was spotted in that vicinity by the T10. There's only 6 enemy tanks remaining, and there's 2 Arty on the enemy team, GW Panther and an M12. Just hoping we can catch any sign that they're there. Any tracer. He's having a quick check. Sometimes helps to go to look down or God's eye view, because that it's far easier to see the tracer and see the actual specific location of a target that way. But instead he's dialing in on the convoy. Dialing in ahead of its path. Round out. Looks good. It is good. It disabled him and did 181 hit points of damage in the process. And the T10 does some ram damage after that as well. And that convoy is suffering. And, oh, got hit by our other teammate, the other M12 on our team. They've just lost an IKB-90. We've got 2 in the cap. And that's going to force the enemy Arty to go into overdrive, trying to shoot at our teammates. There's a Wizzy 1201 FT. That's the premium one. Tier 8. Round out. Looks good. And it was. We don't know how much damage it did, but it did stun the Wizzy. We did pick up some damage assist there, because we damaged the track, or rather Scrappy damaged the track, and the Wizzy was taken out afterwards. Round out on the T25. Oh, just before our shell arrived, he got wiped out. There's only 2 enemies left, both of them Arty. We're looking for the GW Panther or the M12. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be loaded before the T10 finds them. If they are in that corner, he'll spot them. No, they're not. Which means they might be close to the rock or further south. Well, I think they're probably close to the rock. And, oh well, the M12 was close to the rock and the GW was down in the dip. And he was killed before we could shoot. So, game's over. So, let's have a look at the end of battle stats and we'll see how Scrappy got on. And it's an ace tanker for Scrappy in the M12. Shooting against tier 10 or tier 9 opponents really did help him rack up more XP, which meant obviously that he got the ace tanker for this Arty. He also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 8 in total and just the 1 kill, unfortunately, but it was an E75, which is a tier 9 heavy. So let's have a look at team score. Well, sadly he didn't get the highest damage. He only got 1,182 hit points of damage, which is slightly more than his teammate. 4 hit points more than his teammate in the M12. The difference is, though, that he did actually manage to get a kill, whereas his teammate in the M12 didn't. And the high scorer was the Yag Tiger, who managed to get 5 kills, but he was beaten in terms of hit points by the AMX50 120, who got 3,117. When it came to base XP, though, it was Scrappy who did the best, because of course he was bottom tier in a top tier game, a tier 9 game, so obviously he earned a lot more, 1,369 base experience points. That's very, very good for a tier 7 Arty. It certainly showed he was working that one. And if we look at the detail report, we can see he fired 13 rounds, got 3 direct hits, but no pens. I did say that the armor on those vehicles is way too heavy for him to actually penetrate. 10 splash damage though, damage of 1,182 hit points, and all of it was at more than 300 meters. He damaged 5 of the enemy, killed 1 of them, and did 1,152 hit points of damage assistance and 3,241 hit points of stun assist off 9 stuns. So he certainly did help his teammates to do the damage by stunning the enemy. He managed to earn 42,281 credits on a free-to-play account, and after ammunition resupply took away 27,721 credits. He received 1,369 base XP, times 5 for the first victory of the day, got 178 from personal missions payout, took away 7,023 altogether. So a very nice round there from Scrappy in the M12. It's a fun Arty to play. It's not, it's difficult to play at start with, but when you're working your way up through it, just to gain the experience. But once you get to a high enough level, you actually do start to enjoy the M12. And as you may have noticed just recently on the D-Day special, it was one of the Arties that was landed and used during the D-Day landings. In fact, I did actually see film of an M40 being used on D-Day film. I'm not sure if that was actually correct, but certainly there were British Arties involved in D-Day, as well as other American ones. They did have M37s, they had M7s, they also had, the British had the Sexton too engaged in D-Day. Unfortunately, Wargaming didn't include those on the list of vehicles for their D-Day special. Bit of a miss out there. You should have included them. They were above tier 4. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.